After the director, my wife, gave my role to a newcomer, I kicked her out of the company. The script I spent 3 years meticulously crafting was given by my wife to a new male actor she'd just signed. Ethan Shaw posted his official character reveal photo online, embarking on a new role. Thank you to the director for her trust and the fans for their love. Agent Smith sent me the screenshot. In the photo, Ethan Shaw was wearing the costume I had commissioned for $3 million on the set of the new drama. I sent the photo to my wife, the director, Director Prescott. What is the meaning of this? Who gave you permission to recast my script and start filming early? The noisy sounds of the set came through the phone. Victoria's tone was dismissive, honey. It's just a script. You have plenty of resources. You're not short this one. Within half an hour, issue a statement clarifying the production halt. And tell this actor to get lost. Victoria read the message, but didn't reply. Instead, she started live streaming the new drama's kickoff ceremony online. Since someone refuses to listen to reason, don't blame me for being ruthless. 10 minutes later, I kicked Victoria out of the company, and all her projects were forced to halt. Chapter 1. Just as the live stream of the kickoff ceremony was forcibly shut down, Victoria's call came through. Her voice was thick with barely suppressed fury. Sincere Clark. What is the meaning of this? Why did you kick me out of the company? And the new drama project? Who told you to stop it? I leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window, listening to Victoria's hysterical shouting, and spoke calmly. This is my script. Why can't I stop it? You overstepped your authority, ignored the boss's instructions. The company doesn't need people like you. Victoria's voice was incredulous. Sincere Clark, just because of one role? Are you really making such a big deal out of this? Seeing her still acting so self-righteous, I laughed bitterly. Making a big deal? Victoria, who gave you the nerve to touch my things? Giving my stuff away to fawn over another man? You're quite generous, aren't you, in 3 years of marriage? This was the first time I had spoken to her in such an ice-cold tone. Victoria seemed to finally regain a shred of composure from her anger. After a few seconds of silence, her voice softened noticeably. Sincere, did you misunderstand something? Ethan and I have nothing going on. I just saw he has good acting skills and this role happened to suit him. I didn't know you cared so much about this script. It's my fault. I shouldn't have recast and started filming without discussing it with you. If you're not happy, I'll issue a statement later clarifying that you are still the male lead for this drama. Quickly add me back to the group chat first. There are many things waiting for me to handle on the crew's side. My words carried a hint of entitlement, as if she was certain I would give her this way out. I let out a soft laugh, but the amusement didn't reach my eyes. Victoria, I'm not kidding. You're fired. Since this script now has absolutely nothing to do with you, Sanji will find a new director to shoot it. A loud bang came from the other end of the phone, probably her slamming the table hard. Sincere Clark, you can't do this. I've been preparing for this drama for 3 years. When you can't, and given your current state, I think you need to take a break. I didn't wait for her to finish, interrupting her and hanging up the phone directly. My phone immediately started vibrating wildly. Calls and texts from Victoria poured in. I simply turned it off and tossed it aside. When I first met Victoria, she was still a directing student at the Film Academy. In her senior year, she sought funding for her new film everywhere, only to be repeatedly rejected. I saw her past works online and discovered she not only had astonishing talent but also a unique understanding of cinematic language. I recognized her potential, chose to help build her a platform, injected capital, and poured resources into her career. In 5 years, she went from obscurity to becoming a top-tier director in the industry. After gaining fame, she created a new drama specifically for me, extending an olive branch. I spent 5 years proving you didn't make a mistake. This script took me 5 years to write for you. I want to invite you to be my male lead. I admired people who were ambitious and confident like her, and I had seen her hard work over the years. So I accepted the script she offered and starred in her new drama. After the drama became a huge hit, she confessed her feelings for me, promising to write scripts for me for a lifetime, making me her eternal male lead. Regarding feelings, my sentiment towards her was more admiration, but under her intense pursuit, I developed feelings and eventually chose to be with her. After marriage, our relationship gradually settled, evolving from lovers to family. I once thought we would always respect each other, achieve success together, and become a model couple in the industry. But now, she did something so outrageous for an unknown young actor. 3 years of marriage, and we faced our first relationship crisis. While I wasn't one to get bogged down by sentimentality, I absolutely would not tolerate betrayal in a marriage. Chapter 2. I called the company, instructing them to immediately find a new director to take over the drama project. After dealing with these matters, I lost the mood for any more leisure. After a quick farewell to my parents, I cut my trip short and flew straight back home. Stepping onto the set, the noisy bustle made me frown. Logically, since I had clearly ordered a work stoppage and director change, it should have been deserted here. However, the scene before me told me someone wasn't taking my words seriously. With just one glance, I saw Victoria. She was half kneeling in front of Ethan Shaw, carefully adjusting the collar of his costume, her expression focused and gentle. It was a look she rarely showed at work after becoming famous. Yet, it was the very look that had initially captivated me. Someone sharp-eyed spotted me and whispered, "I'm Mr. Clark." The set instantly fell silent. Victoria looked up, the softness on her face quickly retracting the moment she saw me. Ethan Shaw, however, reacted quickly. The smile on his face stiffened only for a moment before he immediately greeted me with a smile. "Good morning, Mr. Clark. I heard you were traveling with your parents. Why are you back so soon?" I didn't bother looking at him, my gaze sweeping past him to land directly on Victoria's face. "Clear out the unauthorized personnel. Don't let just any riffraff in here to disrupt filming." The crew members exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of what to do. The CEO and the CEO's wife, they couldn't afford to offend either. Ethan Shaw's face instantly turned pale. He stood there awkwardly, looking towards Victoria for help. Victoria, as expected, did not disappoint him. She quickly stood up, shielding Ethan Shaw, her tone clearly displeased. "Sincere Clark, this is a film set. Watch your image. He is currently an actor in the crew, not some unauthorized person. This is my crew. How come I didn't know we added this thing?" "Mr. Clark, I raised my hand, cutting Ethan Shaw off. "Who gave you permission to speak?" Get out. Victoria, however, was thoroughly enraged by my attitude, her voice suddenly rising several decibels. "Enough. I personally cast Ethan Shaw for the role. There's absolutely no problem with his abilities." In the past, Victoria had been extremely strict about casting for her crews. Even when investors tried to insert people, she would argue fiercely and never compromise. Now she repeatedly broke her own rules for an unknown newcomer, even willing to publicly clash with me. And I don't care if he has talent or not. Since drama has an investment of over $15 million, while it might not be a top-tier blockbuster, the supporting male role is one that many A-list actors in the industry were desperate to land. Every actor who got in went through rounds of auditions. But you're throwing away your principles for this thing? Also, have you forgotten? You were fired by me yesterday, when Director Prescott. In what capacity you're standing here calling the shots? Usually, no matter how much we disagreed, I had never publicly embarrassed her. This was why she dared to act so boldly on set, relying on her status as the CEO's wife. Victoria's face flushed red, rendered speechless by my words. I was fired by you, but I built this crew from scratch. Many things only I know. Before the new director takes over, I have to be responsible for the crew. The surrounding staff held their breath. The set was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I couldn't help but chuckle, lowering my head to stare at her, utterly shattering her composure. "Victoria, this is my script, my investment, my set. You have no right to assign personnel. Have I been too good to you over the years? Is that why you feel emboldened by my status? Now, take him and get out." Victoria stumbled back half a step under the pressure of my aura, a hint of panic finally flashing in her eyes. "Sincere Clark, don't go too far. I did this for the sake of the drama. Get out. Don't force me to have you thrown out." Victoria glared at me, her eyes slightly red around the rims. Finally, she grabbed the still stunned Ethan Shaw beside her and left the set in disarray. Chapter 3. That night, Victoria didn't come home. I didn't care, handling company documents alone in the study, until Assistant Jones sent 2 screenshots. The first was set at a charity gala, attended by city socialites and industry heavyweights. Victoria was beaming, introducing Ethan Shaw to Abigail Miller, a highly influential senior producer in the industry. The other screenshot was from Ethan Shaw's social media feed. It was a group photo of him with several industry bigwigs, Victoria standing intimately beside him. The caption read, "Thank you, Director Prescott, for the introductions. Met many seniors and learned so much. I will continue to work hard and live up to expectations." My gaze turned cold, bit by bit. After being kicked off the set by me, Victoria not only didn't restrain herself, but escalated things, trying to use my connections to pave the way for that snake in the grass. Dream on. I sent a message to Assistant Jones. "Go check out what's going on. Don't let irrelevant people parade around using my name." Understood. Before long, Assistant Jones sent a video clip from the event. In the video, producer Abigail Miller directly asked Ethan Shaw at the gala what representative works he had starred in. Ethan Shaw stammered, unable to answer. Abigail Miller looked him up and down, then sneered. "It's understandable that young people nowadays want shortcuts, but relying solely on a pretty face and knowing how to flatter people won't cut it. Forcing someone without talent won't make them stand firm." Finished, she looked at Victoria, saying pointedly, "Some people really think after making a few films they've forgotten their own measure, haven't they? And I wonder who supported them all the way up. And now that they're famous, the male companions beside them have changed. In this world, the last thing we lack is directors with potential." As soon as she said this, the way people looked at Ethan Shaw and Victoria turned strange. Whispers about their relationship started circulating. Victoria's expression was extremely ugly, but she still explained that she and Ethan Shaw only had a normal superior-subordinate relationship. Yet no one cared about her explanation. Many stated they were partners with the Clark Corporation. Specific actor collaboration projects would only be discussed with me. Amidst continuous mockery and sarcasm, the pair left the scene awkwardly. I wasn't surprised by this outcome at all. The incident during the day where Ethan Shaw snatched my role and wore my costume had already spread throughout the entire circle. Almost everyone at the gala had known me since I debuted, with nearly 10 years of acquaintance. When I became Best Actor, who knew where Victoria even was? Furthermore, besides having a place in the entertainment industry, I had the entire Clark Group behind me. When I initially wanted to develop in the entertainment industry, my father opened a media company for me and personally launched my career. Even if not for my sake, for my father's sake. Everyone knew whose side to take. Chapter 4. It was late at night when Victoria returned. She stormed straight into the study, furious. "Sincere Clark, did you instruct producer Miller to target Ethan Shaw?" I put down the document in my hand and looked up calmly. She continued relentlessly, "We already withdrew from the crew. Aren't you satisfied yet? How long are you going to bully him?" Watching her impotent rage, I curled my lip into a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Victoria, on what grounds do you say I did it? You yourself took the invitation that should have been mine, using that occasion to pull resources for him. I haven't even called you out on that, and you're the one accusing me first? Playing the victim? Let me remind you, people in this circle are not fools. They know exactly what you two have been up to. Search your conscience. Is it others targeting you, or is it your own problem?" Victoria was choked speechless by my words, her chest heaving violently. She could only point at me, speaking out of shame and anger. I slapped her hand away, sneering coldly. Me what? Don't you forget how you promised me? To write scripts only for me, for a lifetime, scripts just for me. You walk in the door, without a single word of explanation, and unleash your anger and accusations on me. Victoria, do you even consider me your husband? Under my barrage of questions, Victoria remained silent for a long time, then spoke with difficulty. I just saw his potential, and he's hardworking and motivated, so I wanted to give him a hand. My relationship with him is completely innocent. I looked at her, filled with disappointment. Innocent? Victoria, for him, you not only directly tampered with my script, ignored my warnings, but even clashed with me publicly. Is that what you call innocent? He has potential? There are plenty of male actors with potential in this world. Are you going to help each one like this? No matter how much potential he has, he's just a newcomer. You're pushing him to the top in one go right now. Are you helping him or ruining him? Let's not even talk about whether a newcomer like him has the acting skills to support this S-level major production. Even if he could, that's still my property. I spent 3 years constantly polishing and revising this script. Didn't you see my effort? Why does your casual assumption negate all my hard work and allow you to act unilaterally? Why did you pick this particular project? He's an actor, I'm an actor too. I also need good scripts. Why could you ignore my feelings to help someone else? Victoria, have you shown me, your husband, the minimum respect? Do you really love me? Victoria was silent for a long time, the tension around her gradually dissipating. She looked up at me, a rare look of guilt appearing on her face, her eyes rimmed with red. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I didn't mean to. I love you. You're the only one in my heart. Saying this, she came over and hugged me, her chest burning hot. I just saw him running around sets, auditioning alone, getting bullied, and it reminded me of when I first started. No background, no connections, looked down upon, enduring countless dismissive glances. I was wrong. You can hit me, curse me, whatever you want. I really didn't mean it. In all our years of marriage, this was the first time she had shown weakness and vulnerability. Feeling the dampness on my shoulder, I sighed softly, my heart ultimately softening. This time, I can let it go. But Ethan Shaw, I don't want to hear his name from your lips again, nor do I want to see you involved with him in any way. Since he has talent, let him make his own way with his abilities. This is the last time, Victoria. I pushed her away gently, looked into her swollen eyes, and said word by word, if there's a next time, we get a divorce. I will never allow my partner to betray me. Perhaps out of fear, her whole body trembled. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her voice choked. Okay, I will never divorce you. She held me tightly in her arms, with enough force to merge me into her body. Chapter 5. To prove her determination, she deleted all of Ethan Shaw's contact information in front of me. She handed him over to another agent in the company. After she spent a week at home playing the role of a housewife, I reconsidered and decided to let her direct the new drama after all, because I knew she had poured as much effort into this script as I had. We both threw ourselves back into the preparatory work for the script. Our relationship also eased considerably. I didn't deliberately try to suppress Ethan Shaw. A minor character wasn't worth wasting too much of my energy on. But people in this circle are shrewd. Some things, even if I didn't explicitly state my position, they would do spontaneously. Coupled with the withdrawal of Victoria's resource allocation, Ethan Shaw found it impossible to get anywhere in the industry and gradually faded from view. I refocused all my energy on the filming of the new drama. Several months later, filming for the new drama wrapped up. The wrap party and media press conference were scheduled at a 5-star hotel. As the core creators, Victoria and I were naturally expected to attend together. But just as I was about to enter the venue with Victoria, her phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. She frowned and declined the call, but the person on the other end was persistent, calling again and again. After being hung up on more than 10 times, just as she was about to block the number. That number sent a text message with a photo. Victoria's face darkened as she opened it. The next second, her expression changed drastically. "I have an urgent matter to attend to. I need to leave for a moment. You go in first." Before I could ask further, she had quickly disappeared around the corner of the hallway. After Victoria left, I had no choice but to face the press conference alone. I stood alone, facing countless cameras below the stage, forcing myself to answer various questions about the film. Just as I was eloquently discussing interesting interactions with the director during filming, a sudden commotion erupted below the stage among the reporters. An entertainment reporter in the front row held up his phone high, rushing to ask, "Mr. Clark, just now, your wife posted on Weibo strongly supporting actor Ethan Shaw and accusing someone of malicious suppression. What are your thoughts on this? And is her sudden departure also related to this matter?" One stone stirred 1,000 waves. All cameras instantly focused on me, the flashing lights hurting my eyes. Clark, it's rumored that Ethan Shaw was not only shelved by the company but also driven to suicide. Is this true? And Mr. Clark, does your company engage in mistreatment or exploitation of artists? And Mr. Clark, have there been problems in your relationship with director Prescott? My ears were filled with a clamor of questions. Confused, I could only hastily conclude the press conference. Backstage, I took out my phone and saw that Victoria had used her official account to issue a statement. Effective immediately, I will withdraw from all business related to the Clark Group and establish my own independent personal studio. In the statement, she went on at length, condemning the company's exploitation and persecution of Ethan Shaw. She detailed Ethan Shaw's hardships and talent, her words filled with heartache for him and an unwavering defense. She claimed she couldn't bear to let an outstanding young actor fall like this. Therefore, she decided to use all her resources to fully promote Ethan Shaw, and Ethan Shaw, the center of the public opinion storm, also forwarded the post, adding, "After the storm, there will always be a rainbow. With you by my side, no matter how rugged the road ahead, I will strive forward." Below the post, he attached a photo of himself and Victoria. Seeing this, and the comment section below instantly exploding, I felt a chill rise from the bottom of my heart. The masterpiece I had meticulously prepared for 3 full years, just as it was finally completed and about to be released, was pushed into the eye of the storm in this manner by the wife I had personally elevated, all for another man. I suppressed the fury in my heart and immediately dialed Victoria's number. "Give me an explanation?" On the other end, her voice was distant and cold. "Sincere Clark, Ethan almost died. If I hadn't arrived in time, he was about to jump off the riverside. He worked so hard, yet he was relentlessly suppressed and bullied by the company. Just because you couldn't stand him, I won't stand by and watch him be destroyed. I must help him." "Help him?" Hearing this, I suddenly laughed until tears streamed down. "Your way of helping him is to push me to my death. Is that it? You didn't even investigate arbitrarily posting that content to slander me and the company. Have you thought about the consequences of doing this? I can't care about that anymore. You were the one abusing your power. First, you ruined him. I have to protect him." She hung up the phone, listening to the dial tone, the last bit of warmth in my chest completely extinguished. The phone was violently smashed onto the floor, the screen instantly shattering. Our wedding photo, showing us in formal attire on the screen protector, also broke into pieces. "Fine, very good. Victoria, for a newcomer, you didn't hesitate to slander and frame me, pushing me towards ruin. Since you choose to stand against me, then don't blame me for being ruthless." Chapter 6. I immediately summoned the public relations team and the legal department, issuing directives. Immediately draft an official statement clarifying that the full copyright ownership of the script belongs to our company. Do everything possible to minimize the impact on the film. Simultaneously clearly state that during her tenure as director, Victoria Prescott severely violated contract regulations by unilaterally replacing the designated lead actor, ignoring project plans to start filming early, and improperly signing actor Ethan Shaw. Refute the false accusations of malicious suppression made on her personal Weibo, making it clear that her statements constitute commercial defamation, and our side reserves the right to pursue full legal responsibility. Also, release the internally stored surveillance footage, all project communication email records, and the relevant documents she signed and confirmed as evidence along with the statement. That surveillance footage clearly recorded Victoria's unusually attentive care and resource allocation towards Ethan Shaw on set, a stark contrast to the treatment of other employees. Finally, at the end of the statement, add a personal announcement. I paused, then continued. Announce publicly that I, Sincere Clark, will be dissolving my marriage with Ms. Victoria Prescott, and the relevant legal procedures have already been initiated. The head of PR and the chief legal officer exchanged just one glance before swiftly getting to work. In less than an hour, this rigorously worded statement, backed by solid evidence, was simultaneously released through the company's official channels and major partner media platforms. The internet instantly exploded, major media outlets scrambled to report, and public opinion rapidly reversed. Hashtags about my divorce from Victoria, Victoria's contract violations, and Ethan Shaw's deliberate playing of the victim card quickly trended. Netizens who were previously sympathizing with Ethan Shaw's suppression and strongly supporting Victoria immediately turned their guns after seeing the surveillance video and black and white evidence. Many flooded Victoria's newly established studio's page with curses, using all sorts of vile and unspeakable language. My phone rang. It was my parents, calling from overseas. On the other end, my father didn't launch into accusations or probe into the details of the event. Sincere, the family already knows about the situation. Do whatever you need to do. You just need to remember, the Clark family will always be your backing. My mother added a few words beside him, concerned about my well-being and mood, asking if they needed to leverage some connections. I managed a slight smile. Dad, Mom, don't worry. I can handle this small matter myself. Hanging up my parents' call, a wave of warmth flowed through my heart. In this world, some things will never betray you. Not long after, another call came in. It was Victoria's parents. As soon as the call connected, Mrs. Prescott's tearful voice came through. Sincere, couples always fight. They fight and make up. Victoria was just momentarily confused. Don't hold it against her. It's not worth getting divorced over. I interrupted her, my tone calm but resolute. Auntie Eleanor, she wasn't momentarily confused. For that Ethan Shaw, she abandoned even basic principles. She chose to stand against me, handed a knife to outsiders, and personally stabbed me. Her affection for Ethan Shaw crossed my bottom line. It's impossible between us. After saying this, I hung up the phone directly. Just then, Victoria burst into my office. Sincere Clark, what is the meaning of this? Just because of this minor work issue you want to divorce me? Chapter 7. Victoria's eyes were red-rimmed, her hands still tightly gripping her phone, clearly having seen the statement. I looked at her with cold indifference. You know better than anyone what this is really about. I gave you a chance. I explicitly told you that was the last time. But what did you do? For that Ethan Shaw, you trampled on my trust and stabbed me viciously. I took out the divorce papers I had already prepared from the drawer and threw them in front of her. I, Sincere Clark, never give second chances. There's nothing more to say. Sign it. Victoria stared at the divorce papers, the anger on her face gradually replaced by panic and disbelief. She violently snatched the divorce papers from the desk and tore them into shreds. I won't sign divorces in child's play, Sincere Clark. Stop acting like a spoiled rich kid. How about this? You retract the divorce statement now, and we both calm down and talk later. Seeing her like this, I only felt the irony. There's no such thing as having your cake and eating it too in this world. Since she made her choice, she had to bear the consequences. I spoke coldly. I will not retract the divorce statement, and there's no possibility between us anymore. I'll draft another copy of the agreement. If you don't sign, I don't mind making sure you and that Ethan Shaw are completely finished in this industry. Sincere, Clark. You dare. Victoria had always prioritized her career heavily. Having been spoiled by me for so many years, she couldn't stand such threats. Anger surged again. I will not sign the agreement, and I won't give up on Ethan Shaw. We'll see. She threw down these words, turned and stormed out without looking back. I looked at the mess of shredded paper on the floor, my eyes calm and unmoved. Victoria, you brought this upon yourself. Chapter 8. Deep down, Victoria was still that award-winning director who wouldn't easily admit defeat. Being pushed into a corner by me actually fueled her competitive spirit. She probably thought that with her talent and fame, she could still make a name for herself even after leaving me. She started using all the savings she had accumulated over the years, even mortgaging several properties under her name. She wanted to raise funds, personally invest, write the script herself, and pour all her efforts into producing a movie with one goal: to promote Ethan Shaw. However, reality soon delivered a harsh slap in the face. The news of our divorce, along with that statement containing conclusive evidence, had already spread like wildfire within the industry. No one dared to take on her project. Victoria contacted several top screenwriters she had previously collaborated well with. Their responses were either that their schedules were already full, or polite refusals. The director of photography she favored, with whom she had pleasant discussions before, was now unreachable by phone. Even those crew members who used to treat her with utmost respect, calling her Director Prescott so affectionately, now made various excuses to avoid her. The entire industry, seemingly overnight, had closed its doors to her. A mutual friend called me, saying things weren't looking good for Victoria. Investors had already pulled out, and she was now borrowing money everywhere. I just chuckled lightly and replied, "Is that so? What does it have to do with me?" The friend was silent for a moment on the other end, then said no more. After hitting a wall repeatedly in the industry, Victoria pinned her last hopes on her parents. She probably thought that with the network and connections her parents had built over the years, they could find some uncles and aunts willing to offer a helping hand. However, she was disappointed once again. Her parents started contacting old friends with whom they interacted frequently and seemed close, hoping to secure some funding support for their daughter's project. But they discovered that most of these so-called old friends and close connections maintained superficial warmth with the Prescott family primarily because of the Clark family, because of me, Sincere Clark. Now that Victoria and I had fallen out, they avoided them like the plague. They either directly declined the Prescott parents' calls or vaguely fobbed them off with various excuses. Repeated rejections, repeated cold shoulders, made Victoria feel the power of capital and the cruelty of reality so acutely for the first time. Without Sincere Clark's support, even with all her abilities, she couldn't get anywhere. The media continued to track and report on Victoria's plight. The once glamorous award-winning director was now in a sorry state, becoming fodder for industry gossip. I remained indifferent to all this. My energy was fully invested in the production of the company's new film project. Without Victoria's interference, without all that messy drama, everything proceeded according to plan. In fact, it went even smoother than I had anticipated. Chapter 9. A month later, news about Victoria had gradually spread from the entertainment section to the social news section. Victoria's newly established studio was defaulting on employees' salaries. In photos, the door of her rented studio was covered with payment reminder notices, with "Pay your debts" written in red paint. Someone even photographed several menacing-looking men blocking the studio entrance directly. They demanded Victoria come out and repay the money face-to-face, attracting many onlookers. That afternoon, Victoria's parents came to the company. Unable to reach me by phone, they had to come in person. In just 1 month, Mr. Prescott's hair had turned mostly white, his back slightly stooped, and Mrs. Prescott's eyes were deeply sunken, looking utterly haggard. This time, They didn't mention the long-standing friendship between the two families, nor did they talk about marital reconciliation. They just kept pleading for me to spare Victoria. Sincere, Uncle Arthur and Auntie Eleanor are begging you. We know it was Victoria who wronged you. She made mistakes, and reaching this point today is her own doing. Just for the sake of her having been married to you after all, please be lenient. Leave her a way out. The elderly couple wept bitterly, almost kneeling before me. I quickly stopped them, helping them sit on the sofa, but I didn't relent. Uncle Arthur, Auntie Eleanor, you've misunderstood something. Reaching this point today wasn't because I forced her, she chose it herself. Back when she was determined to ruin the movie for Ethan Shaw, regardless of everything, she should have foreseen today. I gave her a chance, she pushed it away with her own hands. Now you want me to back off? Fine. Have Victoria sign this divorce agreement. I signaled the lawyer to present another copy of the divorce agreement, which had already been prepared, to them. As soon as she signs it, I will immediately cease all targeted commercial actions. Since it's the only shred of dignity she can fight for herself, the last one. Mr. and Mrs. Prescott looked at the agreement, the color draining from their faces. How they went back to persuade Victoria, I didn't know, nor did I want to know. I only knew that under the relentless pressure from my lawyer, under immense public opinion pressure and crushing debt. 3 days later, I received the divorce agreement signed by Victoria. Chapter 10. Note: original text skipped Chapter 9. This follows the numbering from original. The divorce procedures were handled quickly. After the divorce, Victoria lost her career, reputation, love, and wealth, her life hitting rock bottom. Meanwhile, news about me frequently made headlines. The company's market value repeatedly hit new highs, and several important investment projects yielded returns far exceeding expectations. The new film project I personally oversaw was officially announced. The collaborators were top-tier screenwriting teams, production crews, and A-list actors in the industry. And having lost the backing of the Clark Group and burdened with massive debt, Victoria had completely lost her value to Ethan Shaw. The person who once played the role of gentle, considerate, sunny, and vulnerable in front of her quickly changed his tune. He began to speak to Victoria coldly, even using harsh words. One day, when Victoria broke down again due to her inability to repay debts, Ethan Shaw completely tore off the last layer of pretense. Cry, cry, cry. All you know is how to cry. What's the use? I thought you, the great director Prescott, were so capable, able to make me an A-list superstar, turns out, without Sincere. Clark, you're freaking nothing. Victoria snapped her head up, looking at him through tear-blurred eyes, her face filled with disbelief. Ethan Shaw, you... What did you say? Seeing her shocked expression, Ethan Shaw laughed even more cruelly. What did I say? I said you're stupid. Did you really think I was actually going to kill myself by the river back then? That was me acting for you. I knew women like you fall for the sob stories the hardest, love playing the savior. I bet you'd pity me, feel guilty, feel sorry for this genius. Sure enough, you took the bait, treated me like a treasure, ha ha ha. Unfortunately, you're too useless and too stupid. Victoria felt ice cold all over, her blood seeming to freeze. She looked at the menacing, verbally abusive man before her, so different from the boy with clear eyes and a shy smile in her memory. An overwhelming wave of disgust surged up, making her almost vomit. So, from beginning to end, it was all an elaborate scam. Her so-called appreciation of talent, her so-called protection, her so-called defiance, were merely her being manipulated by a calculating villain. She had actually, for such a despicable man, personally destroyed her marriage, ruined her career, and squandered her reputation. Immense despair and self-loathing engulfed her. Ethan Shaw slammed the door and left. Victoria collapsed onto the cold floor, tears silently streaming down. Her life, it seemed, was truly, completely over. Chapter 11. Note: original Chapter 10. In her breakdown, Victoria started binge drinking. In a daze, she began uncontrollably recalling fragments of her past with me. From our first meeting on set to falling in love later. Me smoothing over various troubles during filming for her, securing the best actors and teams, staying up all night discussing scripts with her when she hit creative blocks. Her step-by-step rise to success, becoming the envied award-winning director, was backed by my unwavering support and unreserved trust. Those details, once overlooked or taken for granted, now replayed in her mind like movie scenes, each frame piercing her heart with pain. She picked up her phone and sent me a long text message. Every line overflowed with thick, suffocating regret and pain. The last line was, "Sincere, I was wrong. Forgive me. Please give me one more chance." However, this message laden with repentance was like a stone sunk into the sea, meeting only silence. When her first message arrived, I didn't even open it before directly blocking her number. My new film project officially launched, the press conference a grand success. During a public media interview, a reporter deliberately brought up Victoria's recent situation, holding the microphone to me. Facing the camera, my tone was flat. "Don't know her, don't care." The reporter wanted to press further, but staff members had already stepped forward to usher him aside. As for Ethan Shaw, after Victoria completely lost power, he still dreamed of making a comeback relying on his face and so-called acting skills, joining a popular talent show at the time. But he was successively exposed for past misdeeds, deceiving fans' emotions, having a messy private life, and faking his academic qualifications. Even more damning revelations surfaced. He had exploited the affections of several wealthy older women to swindle large sums of money. One victim even produced transfer records and chat screenshots, making a public, named report. Overnight, Ethan Shaw became a public pariah. To mitigate risks, the show's production team persuaded him to withdraw overnight, and all promotional materials related to him were removed. Just like that, he completely vanished from the public eye. Later, sporadic rumors about him surfaced. It was said he developed a gambling addiction, lost all his money, and incurred astronomical gambling debts. Debt collectors came knocking, employing ruthless methods, directly breaking one of his legs. Someone saw a beggar limping in a corner of the city, rummaging through trash cans for food, who vaguely resembled Ethan Shaw. You reap what you sow. Chapter 12. Note: Original Chapter 11. 2 years later, under my leadership, Clark Pictures further expanded its territory. Several films I invested in and produced achieved both box office success and critical acclaim. TV dramas repeatedly broke viewership records, and the company's market value multiplied several times over. I became a truly influential heavyweight in the industry, and by my side there was a new partner. At a charity gala, my wife Sophia and I attended as important guests. On the way to the banquet hall, I inadvertently glimpsed a figure in a waitress uniform, struggling to push a catering trolley. The face vaguely resembled Victoria's, but it had long been ravaged by life's hardships, losing its former radiance, her eyes dull and lifeless. She saw me too. The moment our eyes met, her body froze abruptly, the trolley in her hands almost slipping, her expression complex. I merely swept my gaze over her calmly, as if looking at a complete stranger. Then, taking my wife's arm, I walked straight into the banquet hall. Victoria watched my disappearing back behind the door, finally lowered her head, tears dripping onto the floor, filled with endless regret.